Hi, and welcome to this short video where we divulge 5 common reasons community development activities are not given CRA credit for community banks. But before we delve in, I want to take 20 seconds to thank you for the work you put into making your community bank and the community it serves better. Fair and responsible banking and CRA officers are often thankless and greatly underappreciated roles. But after working over 15 years behind the scenes, I've seen the amazing and wonderful ways that you and your CRA colleagues have made a real difference in the world. So thank you. Now, the number one reason community banks lose community development credit is poorly written narratives. Typically, banks use a spreadsheet or other mechanism to track their community development activities. And this is the first thing your regulator looks at. It's the first impression they have of your program and if your training and procedures are any good. Far too often, this quickly clues in examiners to red flags and causes them to test for far more community development activities than they would otherwise. Your narrative of why each activity should be counted doesn't have to be long. 2 to 3 sentences should suffice, but be sure that each key criteria for the corresponding activity and bucket are covered. The number 2 cause of community development activities not counting is poor documentation. Items in your narrative should be backed up by some form of documentation and support that the examiner can go to validate the statements in your narrative. Supporting documentation can come from loan files, bond prospectuses, proxy data sources, emails, or screenshots from websites of community organizations that your bank supports. Track these in a method that's easy for the examiner to find, or they may not find it and think you don't have it. Third, many community banks either don't take credit for affordable housing on rental properties or lose the credit because they lack rental records. Key items here are information on the property that shows what rent is being charged for each unit and how many bedrooms those units have. Then you can use proxies to document that the rents are affordable, but better yet is if you can get from the borrower information on the actual tenants or the fact that they're low and moderate income families. You want procedures to collect this information before closing or renewing the loan because it's very difficult to get afterwards. Number 4, when talking about the community services bucket, it is key that you show that the services are provided primarily to low and moderate income individuals. Far too often, this criteria is missed and cannot be supported. There are many amazing things community banks do for organizations that provide services to everyone, such as assistance for cancer treatment, disability programs, or the Special Olympics. However, the problems that they help with aren't isolated to low and moderate income families. So you need to go further to show the populations they actually serve. Ask the organization if they can provide the percent of low and moderate income families served, or if they can provide a statement that over 50% of them are LMI. Remember, the documentation must support the part of the organization the activity ties to. So if you support or make a donation to the United Way as a whole, the documentation should show that the United Way as a whole primarily serves LMI individuals. Or if your support is to a targeted program, that the program that's being supported or volunteered for is primarily serving LMI. Also, be careful about how the organizations are structured, such as with the Special Olympics. The Special Olympics is a wonderful worldwide organization, but it has a state-by-state structure. So make sure your documentation is for the state you are involved in or donating to, or it can be questioned. Lastly, when writing the narrative for service activities, be sure to include a sentence that covers how the person's financial or technical expertise was being used. Were they in a leadership role, fundraising, or providing financial education? Great. That just needs to be a sentence in your narrative. However, if they were only hammering nails for Habitat for Humanity, unless they happen to be maintenance at the bank, that's not going to get credit. Many times, service activities fall in the community services bucket, and CRA officers already qualified a donation to the organization, so they forget to also record the financial or technical expertise for the same organizations once they get to documenting their service activities. It's also worth mentioning that people are supposed to be serving as a representative of the bank during these service activities to get CRA credit. There is some debate on what exactly that means, but train your staff, management, and don't forget your board to serve as a representative of the bank. Document that you train on that and document how that is accomplished the best that you can, in case you get an examiner that happens to be a stickler for that. I know, as a community bank, you believe the folks are always representing your banks, and I agree, but not everybody shares that opinion. Please subscribe and hit the thumbs up. It shows me that there is a demand and need for these videos that are designed as a part of my no-cost and low-cost initiatives to help community banks have a fighting chance keeping up with regulations that are skewed against them. As a quick note to fair banking professionals, a new fair lending and CRA association called Apex has been started by Michael Wallace. He's another expert in the fair banking world. Their first meeting is April 1st and early bird pricing is ending soon. Get more information on their website, apexflcra.com, or follow the link in the video description below. If you have any comments or questions, leave a comment below and I'll respond when I get a chance. We'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.